Relay Fortress Annex Military Training Ground. Am I gonna have to read, or is there gonna be voices? Alright, I guess I'm gonna have to read. Give me a second, I was drinking my protein shake. Wow, Ags and main battle tanks. There are plenty of older models tanks out. There are plenty of older model tank outs there too. It even looks like they have airships here. Oh yeah, like the ones we saw in Nord. Welcome. Oh? Orange hair, could it be Elliot's father? So, that's Elliot's dad, I was right. I don't see the family resemblance. I mean, the hair looks similar. Looks like the hair made the jump from father to son, though. Yeah, I don't see any other resemblance besides the hair. Reporting Lieutenant General. Very good, Nightheart. And Instructor Valentine, I believe. Pleased to meet you. Pleasure to meet you, same difference. It's an honor to make your acquaintance, Lieutenant General Craig. Allow me to extend my deepest thanks for agreeing to cooperate with us for the Academy's curriculum today. Think nothing of it. Many of these fine youngsters may one day hold positions in the Imperial Army after all. Not Elliot, though. Besides, I owe a lot to old General Van Dyke. Ah, and these must be... What a piercing stare. So, this is Craig the Red. Elliot, my boy, it's so good to see you again. That was quite a shift. Huh? It must be half a year now since I last saw you. How have you been? That's a sharp-looking uniform you got, too. I've seen the photos, but it looks even better on you in person. Dad, come on. Hey, you still got a long way to go if you want to put on some real muscle. There's a part of me that hopes you'll stay my little cherub forever. But you're a man of Erebonia, and the men of the Empire must be strong, stout, and ready for action. It was for your own good as a man that I held back my tears and enrolled you in the military academy. Dad, I can't breathe. I feel like everything I've been told about him was a lie. There do seem to be some differences from the stories. You kidding me? He seems like a cool guy. What a delightful commanding officer you have, Major. Words fail me. Dad, knock it off. I'll tell Fiona. Oh yeah, you don't want him telling Fiona. Moving right along. Quite a shift. Lieutenant General General Olaf Craig. I forgot Olaf is his name. I'm Lieutenant General Olaf Craig, commander of the Imperial Army's 4th Armored Division. I've been entrusted with the role of overseeing today's joint military exercise. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Likewise, sir. It's a pleasure. You got one heck of a dad, Elliot. Believe me, I feel it in my bones. Now let me give you a brief rundown of what will be happening. This exercise will consist of a simulated battle conducted by 2 of our armored divisions. Armored regiments at the formation center, infantry, armored cars, and airships will work in tandem, using their maneuverability to the fullest to obliterate targets. As our targets today, we'll be using previous model tanks that have been decommissioned from service. Autopilot functionality will allow them to evade and return fire, but they've only been armed with the paint bullets. However, all the other regiments taking part in today's exercise have been equipped with the live ammunition. So you intend to actually destroy the other tanks? It would hardly be a live fire exercise if we didn't. The current time is 1400 hours, right on schedule. We'll now begin today's joint military exercise. Armored Divisions 4 and 5 commence combat operations. Glory to the Empire and the Imperial Army, begin. Yes, sir. 5th Armored Division, Armored Regiment will advance first. Armored Car Regiment and Infantry Regiment follow their lead. 4th Armored Division, Armored Division Regiment, and Infantry Regiment advance together. Armored Car Regiment deploy to the left and right. Is this gonna be like a Fort Condor match? Is that what we're doing here? If so, I'm totally down. I love Fort Condor. Look at us just watching. Wow. It's certainly potent. So this is the kind of firepower it takes to fight a modern war. Huh. You said those tanks are called Agzens? Yeah, they're a type of main battle tank to the Rifenberg company developed 2 years ago. I've seen their spec sheets, but seeing their power firsthand tells you what numbers and decimal points don't. They might be the strongest heavy tanks on the continent. And the Imperial Army's got a couple of hundred of those in the wings, huh? That's kinda crazy. You try fighting things like these head on, you won't stand a chance. You're dead if you challenge those things. That's as true for our own nation as it is for others. I just can't get used to this. Just the sound of the artillery firing is enough to make me shake. I don't think that's something you should get used to, I mean, if the sound of guns and warfare ever stopped bothering you, I'd be worried. Green. Oh, there it is again. My heart is having a heartache. I guess this is another kind of strength. Alright, make sure we took notes. What have we learned from this whole destruction, basically a Fort Condor match? Thus, the military exercise came to an end. 4th Armored Division, led by General Craig, withdrew to an encampment near the fortress. Meanwhile, we returned to the fortress where Major General Neihart outlined the results of the training exercise. After that... Sorry you had to wait for us to finish. Don't worry about it, we're the guests here after all. Thanks for your consideration. At the very least, I'd say dinner is a million times better than lunch was. I mean, it's hashed beef day. That's an Imperial Army tradition, isn't it? Ooh, just the smell's making me hungry. Oh yeah, where'd your instructor go? She's a real looker. I was hoping to get a chance to talk to her. Oh, my goodness. She went to the Fortress Commander Center with Instructor Neihart. She did ask us to eat without her tonight. Ah, right. Well, if she's with Major Neihart, it's hard to compete with those guys from the 4th Armored Division. You guys have no chance. It'd be enough if they just had Craig the Red, but they got the Major too. He's kind of scary. Like a division of muscle men. Anyway, we shouldn't keep you tied up any longer. Your hash beef's gonna get cold. See you guys tomorrow. I don't know if I want this hashed beef. It sounds gross. Yeah, it doesn't even look... It looks like prison food. Wow, it's actually delicious. That's a shock. It's like night and day compared to what we had for lunch. You're telling me. Come on, guys. What's with all the gloomy faces? You think you guys might have had a bit too rosy of an outlook? What were you expecting to see out there? I'm sure you can understand at least a little of how we feel. It's like, has everything we learned in our time at the academy been for nothing? Academics, the arts, individual skill, and combat? None of those matter in the slightest in real warfare, do they? Wow, this is a really interesting plot point. The characters realizing what they learned, like what does it all mean? Very, very neat. It's true. If all you're looking to do is fight a war, you don't need any of those. Yeah, it's kind of odd now that you think about it. All you'd need is plenty of troops at your command, the latest weaponry, and overwhelming firepower. Assuming you know the tactics to use them well and the strategy that employs them effectively, I suppose. The Agzens are even more powerful than I was expecting them to be. I remember my mother boasting about their capabilities when she was trying to sell them to the army 2 years ago, but to be honest, I'm feeling somewhat disheartened as well. I can't see there being a place for swords on the battlefield with weapons like those on the front lines. Well, I don't think that means individual combat skill doesn't matter at all. Still, I think maybe we've been misunderstanding something important at all this time. What we saw in that military exercise today was the power in its purest form. It has no morality of its own. It exists to bring a result regardless of the ideals or principles of those who wield it. That's true. In a sense, the same could be said of a sword or a gun. And all the way up on something as huge as Grelli's railway guns, too. I think I finally understand why they wanted us to watch the military exercise in the first place. They could have taught us in a less roundabout fashion. Well, it looks like you guys didn't wait for me to start the party. That's what you said. You said to not wait for you. Instructor Sarah? So, you spoke with the commander. Sure did. I got up-to-date info on the trade conference too. And as well as all the latest on the terrorists. So, there's new information about the Imperial Liberation Front? Anyway, before I get to that, let me explain what you'll be doing tomorrow. In the morning, you're scheduled to participate in the Imperial Army's physical fitness training. In the afternoon, you'll be attending a special lecture where I'll bring you up to speed on that info I just mentioned. After that, you've been granted special permission to view the railway guns. I see. Oh, that's interesting. Looking forward to that. Sounds like we've got a pretty packed schedule. Well, we did bring you all the way out here, so we might as well make the most of it. Every nation possesses the power in the form of a military, whether that military is large or small. Really, a fortress just happens to have that power in a very striking, easy to understand form. As students of a military academy, you have an obligation to know the scale of the power. The Empire of Erebonia wields at present a power you might one day be in charge of yourselves. What? Anyway, even a meeting that long couldn't keep me away from trying the famous hash beef rice. I've heard it's the only decent food they have around here, so I've been looking forward to this all day. We should probably finish eating. Yeah, before Sarah joins us. Yeah, though it's gotten a bit cold now. Maybe I'll go ask for seconds. Oh, Hesus, if you don't want the rest of yours, can I have it? I'd sooner throw it away than give it to you. Oh, get told. Okay, that should do it. Alright, that covers today's quota. Whew, I'm looking forward to a nice long bath. Well, you know how every time there's a military exercise coming up, the workload gets pretty crazy like this. Still, at least managing inventory has gotten a lot easier thanks to the orbital net. They got everything hooked up on the network over in Crossbell, right? Wish the Empire would get on that a bit more. Think of the utility. Well, from the sound of it, you need special equipment to send signals through a wire connection to make use of it. And considering the size of the Empire, it's probably going to be quite a while before it's a widespread thing here. Huh? An orbital mail. Looks like it's from HQ. Oh, you gotta be kidding. This right here is the problem with the orbital net. There's no such thing as off hours when they just can't send you when they can just send you orders round the clock. Huh? What's going on? So get this, they're planning on doing some extra exercise tomorrow. That means we're gonna outfit 20 Agzens with C units by tomorrow. 20! Seriously? Might as well start up another pot of coffee. We're in for an all-nighter for sure. Do you even have that many C units left? Actually, another lot came by Fred just this evening. Exactly 20 if you can believe it. That's too convenient. Guess we'll just have to get it done. Crap, at least let us take a shower. I'm gonna head down to the mess hall and grab some snacks. You want anything? Oh, you guys have work cut out for you. Oh, they actually let me save. Probably should save in the second one just in case the recording corrupts. Let's continue. It's August 31st. Crossbow stateside. I don't know why I said status. I almost said status for some reason. At last, after what seemed like enough adventure to fill a week, we reached the final day of our field study. Over in Crossbow State, they were busy preparing for today's keynote session at the trade conference. We spent the morning running through the Imperial Army's physical fitness program alongside some of the soldiers. And after completing it, no easy task, I might add, we sat down to a lukewarm redux of yesterday's lunch. That afternoon, during our special military science lecture, we were presented with a confidential report on the terrorists. Oh, hey. The Imperial Liberation Front is in Crossbell. That's right, or at least that's what the Intelligence Division believes. Looks like a known terrorist organization from the Calvar Republic has turned up in Crossbell too. The situation over there is pretty touch and go right now. Oh no. What are the authorities doing? Everything they can, naturally. However, operations are being handled solely by the Intelligence Division. They refuse to tell the Imperial Army anything, just that they have a trusted ally taking care of things. Who does the Intelligence Division trust? You've got to know something about this, right, Short Stack? Well, I do, but I can't really tell you anything. Oh, come on, you're one of us. I guess it's not a breach of confidentiality to tell you that they're a really strong bunch, though. That's still pretty vague. I've got a few ideas. Anyway, that's not much point in us worrying about that. There's not much point in us worrying about that right now. Bigger issues that are terrorists of the hour, the Imperial Liberation Front, are a bigger crew than we thought. Big enough to be in possession of a state-of-the-art military airship, at least. Seriously? An airship? Can we assume Brynford's the manufacturer, then? Correct. Just how something that large found its way into the hands of insurgents is currently unknown. This seems to be a high-speed model different from the heavily armored types favored by the Imperial Army. I bet it's from the RF-26 series. There are a number of different models within that series, though. But if they have an airship, that means they're going to be a whole lot more difficult to catch, doesn't it? That's exactly what it means. It's basically impossible to keep tabs on them as it is. With an airship in their possession, there's no telling when or where they'll pop up next. That's quite worrying, especially since Prince Olivert is attending the conference. And Toa's in Crossbow right now, too. Yeah. Damn, now you got me worried. Aw, take it easy. I don't think you have anything to worry about with Gramps and Lecter over there. Well, that aside, if the terrorist attention is currently focused on Crossbell, does that mean the Empire is effectively safe right now? You raise a good point, Laura. They did target Princess Offen during the summer festival last month. It's possible it's just a feint. Maybe they just want us to believe they're targeting the Chancellor. The Railway Military Police thought so too, which is why they've increased the security level here at home. The Emperor and everyone else connected to the Imperial family should be safe. They've all also beefed up security anywhere that seems short-handed. As well as prepared as ever, I see. At any rate, you're finally uncovered some information on the terrorist identities, correct? That's right, though once again we have the Intelligence Division to thank for that. If you turn your attention to the screen, please. Oh, there's Gideon. I know that face. Gee. That's the man who kidnapped Princess Offen and Elise in Heimdall. Not to mention he tried to start a war with Calvard in the North Highlands. So, who is he? His full name is Michael Gideon. He used to be an assistant professor at the Imperial Academy in Heimdall. That man, a teacher? I mean, he looks the part. So, an academic. Right, his focus was political philosophy. 3 years ago, he was dismissed from his position due to his intense criticism of Chancellor Osborne's hardline policies. Oh. So, getting laid off set him on the road to terrorism. Well, it sounds like the actual reason he was let go was because he was handing out tracts and flyers in the public. You'll find these kinds of idealists at the heart of most terrorist groups, though. In seeding a group with their core ideology, they twist it to be even more militant and radical. You can't even reason with them either. Yeah, they just don't know when to give up. Sounds like some other groups I know. So, do we know anything about the others? We crossed paths with what I can only assume were other key members last month in Heimdall. Yes, S, V, and C. Seems like they haven't been able to dig up much on those three yet. The strongest lead right now is that V may belong to the Jaeger Corps. Interesting. He was toting around this machine gun that looked like it should have been mounted on a vehicle. Did he seem at all familiar to you, Fee? Not really. Still working on narrowing down the identity of S2, but it's too early to make any informed statements. The real unknown is their leader, C. The one in the visored helmet, the one who looks like Darth Vader. I heard he was able to go toe-to-toe with Reen, Laura, and Fee simultaneously. I almost find that hard to believe. I don't. I imagine there are plenty of people in the Empire who could do so. It goes without saying that the Radiant Blade Master could fend those three of us off without much of a problem. But I bet good Mira Instructor Sarah Nightheart can do it, too. I can't say for sure. Look at Mr. Modesty over there. The Major here is widely held to one of the strongest up-and-coming officers in the entire army. I've heard people mention him right alongside Major Vander. Laying it on a little thick today, aren't we? Going by the family name, it seems safe to assume he's a practitioner of the Vander style of swordsmanship. No doubt a relative of Lieutenant General Vander from Zender Gate. While I would question whether I could stand on an equal footing with him, Major Vander is unquestionably strong. He was my classmate during my military academy years and quite close to Prince Oliver as well. In fact, he's in Crossbow right now, serving as the prince's bodyguard. Whoa. Well, that's reassuring to know. But getting back to the point, it's not just C, we still know very little about their group as a whole. Even their source of funding is a mystery, so even if they're a no-show in Crossbow, I doubt we've heard the last of them. And call it coincidence or fate, but you've put the kibosh on their schemes twice now. Kibosh? It's entirely possible they've come to hold a personal grudge against you, so be careful. Right. Yeah, we'll be sure to keep that in mind. They probably hate us at this point.